Hello everyone, my name is Ashok and in today's session we shall be discussing about a famous topic from the political theory, federalism. So first thing first, what is federalism? Before I start continue with the topic, I would like to let you know what are the topics we are going to discuss today. In this session. So first we will discuss what is federalism. Then we shall be talking about the Indian federalism. And last, we shall be discussing about the different characteristics of federalism. Fine, so let's get started with the topic. First, what is federalism? The term federalism is the meaning in which federalism is a system in which powers are divided between central government and regional entity. Okay, I repeat it again. Federalism is a system in which powers are constitutionally divided between central government and the regional entity. Why it is divided? It is divided between each of them to govern, okay, or to run their respective areas independently. Now, why do we need federalism, and why this is each government or each entity needs its own power to run independently? I must say autonomy. What is the need for the autonomy? Okay, so consider this is a country, okay, and if this country is being run from the center, I must say whatever the rule is being prevailed in the center would definitely be applicable in the other parts of the country as well. But for say any reason or any specific place where the problems are so different that cannot be addressed with the rule of the center. I repeat again, if any part of the country or the small area where the problems cannot be addressed by the rule of the center, okay, in such conditions we need that this area's problem should be addressed independently so that it can be solved. So that is why in federalism the power is divided, powers are divided between central government, regional entities, and in order to run the government or the system independently. That's what the reason is. Okay, I hope you understood the definition of the federalism. In lower class, I must say in class 10th, generally we say that federalism is a system of governance in which powers are separated between central government, okay, I must say union government, then state government, and local self-government. This local self-government is in the context of India only. Okay, different countries have a different third tier of government. India is one of the country that existed the third level of government as a local government or the local self-governance we say. Okay, and this system has been introduced date back in the 1952 and it started from the Kangaur district Okay, Gangaur district of Rajasthan. We shall be discussing about more about this later, how it has been introduced, how it has been implemented, okay, why it is made constitutionally important to introduce local government by the state government, and how the state government will be sharing its contribution to the local government also. Well, moving ahead, the definition is clear. What is federalism? Okay, let's move to the Indian federalism. It is the most important topic. In Indian federalism, or in the Indian federalism context, we say that India is a quasi-federal. Okay, quasi-federal, which means it is not completely towards the, completely federal, I must say. Let me explain you why we call it as a quasi-federal. Okay, quasi-federal means which is not completely federal. Okay, which is not completely federal, but more or less it is little federal, but it is more union. Okay, why is it so? Because in India, in Indian context, though our structure is central government, state government, and the local government to be seen. Okay, but in functionally, the major powers exist with the central government only. Major powers are exercised by the central government. So we can say India is, based on that, we can say India is more union and less federal. Okay, this statement states that India is a quasi-federal. Fine. So generally, to understand what is the meaning of quasi-federal, this is enough to understand that India is more union and the less federal, because more powers are exercised by the central government only, and in situations of the dispute also, major decision is always taken by the union government or the central government only. Okay, let me tell you one context from the constitutional context in which we can say that India is more union and less federal. Okay, so if you talk about the article number 1 of the part 1, where it is stated that India, that is Bharat, shall be the union of state. Okay, this word states that the structure of India, though it seems to be federal, means we have the state government, we have the local government, we also have the central government or the union government, but still the structure, okay, the constitutional structure says that it will be union of the states only. So it shows that India is more union but less federal. Okay, Article 1 states this. I hope you got this point. Okay. One more thing we must keep in mind, that while making the Constitution of India, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Baba Sahib Ambedkar said that though we are making Constitution showing that India will be a union, but to its structure it will be federal, but explicitly we have not used, explicitly they have never mentioned the word federal in any part of the Constitution. Certain conditions are they given there, but it is always shown as it is a union only. The reason behind that we are not a coming together federation. Okay, rather we are a holding together federation. Like United States of America is a coming together federation. What they actually did. Okay, when I say USA, it's not only America, it consists of the Canada, Mexico, okay, and America. Fine. So these three collectively they come together to form a union. That's why it is termed as a coming together federation. Whereas the structure of India is not like this. Okay, we are holding together federation, we have held our states binding with each other. We have taken control of our entire state by our way. Okay, so in holding together federation, the major philosophy, the major thing that constitution states to maintain, that is the fraternity. Okay, if we talk about the preamble of the constitution, this word is mentioned there. We the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a secular democracy. So the word fraternity is mentioned there. Fraternity is somewhat brotherhood. Okay, so maintain the relation between other states as well. We have taken the options of holding together federation. Right? I hope you are clear with the how Indian federalism is actually being seen in the different contexts. Moving ahead. If time permits, we shall be discussing about the certain question which has been asked in the previous examinations or important context. Okay, we'll try to cover the portion of the CUT as well. Such questions we shall also be discussing in the classroom. Okay, so let's discuss about the features of federalism. I said Indian federalism. Indian federal system. Okay, so first thing we can say from here, the first feature what the Indian federal system has is the division of power. Division of powers. Okay, so in class 10th we have already discussed, we have studied the division of powers can be seen in the horizontal and the vertical way. In horizontal, the powers are divided between legislature, executive and the judiciary, whereas in vertical division we have the union government, then the state government and the local government. In today's context, we shall be discussing about the division between these three. Okay, the vertical division only. How vertically it has been divided, because it is more important to understand the federal system, because they are actually executing the their part only. They don't have very special provisions also, because in today's topic we are discussing about the India's federal system. So we'll be discussing the power separations between union, state and the local only. So in order to divide the powers, in order to give the separation of the powers between three different entities, there are certain list has been mentioned in the constitution. Okay, so very first we have the union list, then state list, then concurrent list. One thing we have also which is left over, I must say, it's residue. We'll discuss it at the end of the topic. Residue. So these four are the different list: union list, state list and the concurrent list. So one by one, let me make you understand what is union list. Okay, so union list is the area or the different subjects which are mentioned inside the union list will be discussed, and the decision over this will only be taken by the union government only. That's what is the union list is actually. Okay, so under this union list, okay, all the major decisions are taken by the central government. Okay, if I'm not wrong, I think there must be 100 subjects comes into the union list. Okay, subjects will be like defense, okay, defense, the petrol, okay, the atomic power and many so on. Okay, railways. Okay, such decisions will be taken by the central government only, and there are 100 subjects. Okay, 100 subjects mentioned in the union list. Okay, second what we have is the state list. Okay, whereas state list is the subject, are those subjects, I must say, in which decision is taken by the regional entities or the state government. Okay, and there would be around 61 subjects. If nothing has been changed, it was 61. I think it's 61 only. Okay, and such subjects will be like, for example, we have the agriculture. For example, recently, not recently, the minimum support price is decided by the state government. Okay, what is minimum support price? So the price at which government or the Food Corporation India, takes over the entire grain from the farmers. On the other hand, when the same product is sold in the market, that is called issue price. Okay, so at which price government buys the product, the grains, is the minimum support price, the MSP, and when government sells the same rice or the wheat, whatsoever it is, okay, it is called issue price. Anyway, agriculture, the police, okay, the state transportation system, and many other subjects are there which can be discussed in the state list. Last one we have is the concurrent list. When I say concurrent list, it is actually the combination of the both. Combination in this is not the subjects are combined, but the decision has been taken by the both of the entities. Collectively they take the decision, not by the anyone. But there is something to be noted down, that when there is a situation of dispute between state and the central, okay, there may be a number of disputes between state and the central. For example, if you talk about the implementation of the Hindi, okay, as a national language, there is a big dispute between the state and the central. Anyway, so when there is a dispute between the state and the central or the union, the decision will be taken by the central only. So this shows that the India is more union, less federal. In this context, the power is not given to the state. The major power is given to the central government only. Okay. So in condition of dispute, the decision has been taken by will be taken by the central government, and state has no role into that. Okay. And the major decisions are taken collectively. Okay, and subjects, for example, education, okay, like curriculum design, everything decided by the central and the state collectively. Okay, because if you see the trigonometry, what you are studying in the state board, you are studying the same trigonometry in the CBSE board as well. So that is same. Fine. Education, the adoption, okay, marriage, and so on. Okay, so this is how the division of power has been made between the state and the central, union and the regional entities. However, certain subjects are not given to local government, but it is the responsibility of the state. It's a constitutional responsibility of the state to maintain the expenses of the state, and they have to share certain of their finance resources as well with the state, local government. Okay, otherwise how does the panchayat will run if they don't have? Okay, in order to bring the autonomy, the government has introduced, okay, in 1952 itself. But none of the state, I must say most of the state has not taken it seriously. So government had to make it a constitutional provision where implementation of the Panchayati Raj system was mandatory. Okay, moving ahead. The next topic, the next feature we shall be discussing is the bicameral structure. Rather we say bicameral legislature. Okay. Clear? This division is also can be seen in context of the judiciary as well, but that not a division, but instead of that, the subordinate, I must say. Okay, that's not a purely division. Clear? So when I talk about the bicameral legislature in India, we can say we have the Lok Sabha. Okay, that is for the central, and for states we have the Vidhan Sabha. Okay, so that is for the state or the regional authorities. Clear? Leave those two things. One is Rajya Sabha, okay, and one is Vidhan Parishad. That is completely different, okay, and we shall be talking about this in different contexts when we talk about the parliament system of India. Okay, so Lok Sabha is for the central government and Vidhan Sabha is for the state government in order to form the government also. Okay, meanwhile we have elections also. Okay, Lok Sabha election is been. See, what I am doing is here is, we are studying integratedly. So if anything comes in which is important in between the topic, I will mention, though it is on another chapter as well. You keep it as a note because it is important and helpful for the CUT examinations as well. Clear? So Lok Sabha election is conducted by the Central Election Commission. Okay, and State Election Commission conducts the elections of the Vidhan Sabha. State Election Commission also conducts the elections of the Panchayat system as well. Panchayat system, Panchayati Raj elections also conducted by the State Election Commission only. Right? So this is what the bicameral structure that shows the powers are separated. The autonomy is separated for the different regions by the different way. Okay. The third feature we shall be discussing. Let me polish off. Okay. Independent judiciary. It is the most important one. Independent judiciary. Judiciary is not a subject to work under any of the government or the body or the institute. Okay, because judiciary is completely independent. It takes its decision in its own way. The framework, the structure which has been made. So judiciary is completely independent. Though we have the structure of the the district court. Okay, for the state level we have the High Court, and for the supreme one we have is the Supreme Court. Okay, which is also called the apex court of the India. Okay, write a question. In which place of India? In which place of India first Supreme Court was established? Okay, by the colonial government. Okay, the British government has established its first Supreme Court. You can tell me the answer later on. Right? So this shows the divisions of the power again between the Supreme Court. However, there is powers are not divided, but in order to run the system smoothly, the different division is shown for the different levels of the. Okay, this is for the again autonomy only. Okay, because if somebody belongs to, like me, I belong to Rajnandgaon district of Chhattisgarh. Okay, and for every single or the small piece of the cases or the constraint or the problems, I cannot reach to Supreme Court every day. Okay, and consider for the example, the population is over 130 million, you cannot make people to reach Supreme Court every day. So for the autonomy only, I must say again, okay, the powers or the system has been separated in such way. So these are the basic features that I wanted to discuss in the topic. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.